to the channel. Kind of late on my video. I guess I'll just say that I recorded a couple other videos both Friday and Thursday that I really should have uploaded because they just would have been kind of interesting to talk about today. But unfortunately, the way I recorded those videos, I happened to receive a couple of phone calls during them. Being currently the high tech person that I am, I don't want to have to edit the videos, so therefore I never got around to where I was able to edit them. So that's why there's no video. So, um, eventually I'll probably get around to editing things and being less lazy. But my goal here is really more to talk about trading for myself than to make a cool channel that a bunch of people care about. Maybe an attempt at reverse psychology, because like who wouldn't want a cool channel that everyone talks about? But maybe one day. But my current focus is to have less time on editing and anything related to YouTube, but mainly just using it as a helpful journal of sorts to document trading stuff and get my thoughts out there and actually prepare myself for the week. So, anyway, just got an ES chart pulled up. The thing that I think people would probably like find the most helpful is just when I like go through and look at the positioning, which I use crowded market reports positioning indicator. Uh, Yeah, like the ES is positioned pretty crowded short still. Got even more crowded last week. The Nasdaq's now crowded short, as in speculators are more short and hedgers are more net long. If anyone doesn't understand this stuff, I would just look up crowded market report and listen to Jason. He's a pretty good trader. It's like one of the few traders that won't cost you money. As in, like, I think most discords and things just end up costing you money more than they make you money. But Jason, at the very minimum, you will not lose money from because you followed Jason's ideas. He wouldn't tell you to follow his trades, which I know is annoying because like I used to always be a practical person who was like, look, I just want some trades that I can copy. Like, why is that so bad? But I think over time you'll understand why the professionals say not to try and copy other people's trades. I guess some people, if they really are mentally set up to just blindly copy someone else's trades to determine their fate, um, I guess that's maybe there's some people that can do that, but I think what I've found is trading such a personal thing. You are risking your real money. I think it's smart to have a process designed for you that works well with your specific makeup, mental makeup, and that you will be able to execute. Don't underestimate how hard it is. I know some of you guys might have more experience than me, so I'm not talking down to those with experience because people on YouTube they often have this like they talk to people kind of like as if they're a novice, which I guess puts the guy speaking in like a point of position of power or something. But I understand some people watching the video might actually have a lot more experience than me in trading. That's okay too. But to those with not like at least I'd say like you added full time, made it full time, it would have to be like 3 years of full time effort, probably like 10 years of following futures and other stocks and things. But some people have way more experience than that. Some people are a lot more successful. I've only been break even for the past, well, profitable actually for the past 6 months. But prior to that, I was like either break even or losing. And I don't know if that's going to even continue. I genuinely don't. Yeah, markets are unpredictable. But yeah, so first of all, just don't like that about YouTube. But second of all, anyone who is new, who has a lot, doesn't have much experience, one day I think you'll understand why people say to create a system that works for you. It's not just like a way to avoid helping you. It's because you have to actually be able to execute the system, which let's say that I told you to wake up at, okay, if you're going to execute this system, you have to wake up at 6 a.m. every day or you can't trade this way, right? If you were told that, some people actually just really won't be happy doing that and they will actually not be able to successfully do that. They might be able to do it for 2 weeks, but it won't be a sustainable long term process they're able to do. Um, Obviously, some people are probably willing to sacrifice and do things that they, maybe normally wouldn't be able want to be able to do, and they could do it for longer than people might expect because they have a really strong reason, like they're doing it for their family or something. If you're one of those people, like that's pretty awesome. Um, I would say I personally don't really have any motivation as strong as some of those folks, other than wanting to um, be free and not have a boss. I could say like my strongest motivation is to make a bunch of money so I can help humanity, right? Save the world. But it's kind of like anyone's watched Squid Games. It's kind of like BS because the main thing we really are influenced by, sadly, not proud of this, but this is just my beliefs as I now try to speak with authority about things that I probably shouldn't, but okay, whatever, just my silly ass thoughts on the matter are that, you know, we're still mainly motivated by what directly benefits us. Like we're pretty animal still, humans. So it's kind of just like a fancy magical story for me to say that I want to work so hard and wake up at 6 a.m. to make this trading strategy work so that the future of humanity will be better. It's better just to be real with yourself and have your real reasons of why you're going to push yourself and knowing exactly where you can push yourself and where you can't. Like, okay, I really, really don't want a boss and I really want to be free. And I'm willing to sacrifice, willing to undergo more stress than the average person. Like, I'm willing to make these various trade offs in order to succeed. Am I willing to wake up at X amount of time every day? Or is there an alternative where I don't have to do that and, I can still have a similar return? Anyway, these are all will affect your system and what kind of system you end up with. And your temperament, where how bad your anger issues are, how impulsive you are. But I don't mean like what you're capable of on your best day. It's really about how you end up on your worst day. Because if you're able to have your best day 90% of the time, um, but your worst day 10% of the time, you're going to go totally tilt if you have an over leveraged scalp on, right? That's going to potentially wipe your entire trading account in 30 minutes, depending on how you're scalping with what amount of size. So it's like to be a high leverage scalper, I believe is the hardest possible thing for me, I think. I hate to admit because it requires you to very quickly, I could say for everyone, but I don't know about everyone. Maybe some people really get into a flow state. I always have a temptation to generalize my entire worldview onto others. I don't know if that's all humans or just me, but be forewarned. Um, my cat's looking super cute right now. I'm gonna have to scratch her belly and get bitten. Yep. Okay. It was worth it. Okay. Anyway, back to what we were saying. Yeah. So because your emotional like not go tilt loop has to be running so quickly as a scalper, and like on your very worst day ever, you can't afford to go tilt really. Tilt just can't be an issue for you if you're a scalper. Like you have to basically be a machine, which humans are typically not good at. Maybe some better than others, but and I think that's why like day trading is kind of harder than swing trading. Is like if you're in a really bad swing, as long as you're not oversized and it's not going like straight against you, like you have more time to see reality, if that makes sense. More time to see the truth behind your bias and your position, if it's a good position, not a good position. Day trading's a little harder. You have to be able to see reality quicker. It's almost like the smaller the time frame you want to trade on, the more you're pushing your risk management and and throw in leverage. So like time frame plus leverage, they really go together, right? Because like you wouldn't use massive leverage on a longer time frame. You could in certain contexts actually, but then to you it wouldn't be massive, um, and you would still be caring about the intraday during the entry. That's probably didn't make any sense, but uh, I'm just gonna move on instead of trying to explain all that, because my brain's not that good at articulation sometimes. Anyway, let's move on to today's just yeah today's market update. Um, I wonder if I should just call that a separate video. I don't know. I'm not trying to do all this professionally yet, so I'm just gonna forgive myself and just upload one crappy kind of video that has all this ramblings and I don't know. Screw it. I'm just gonna stick true to what I'm trying to do. There's me hyping myself up to do my plan. Anyway, let's talk about our short idea that we've had. Okay, so I think I drew this on ES last time I did a video, which is that we're basically trying to short once this guy covers this KISS guy that I've been baiting and following in my email. Like, now, what have I done since then? Um, I've basically been breaking even, maybe made a little bit of money. I have a sad story. This is like my. Let me see if I can pull up my live account without showing the ID. I think I can. Oh, nice. I don't need to prove that it's. I did a whole thing last week about how I need to prove this live account. So I don't care what you guys think, but I don't know. Just think as a paper account if you want. But like, I'd be kind of lame for me to trade a paper account this conservatively. Um, Plus, it's like it would also be weird to only. This is maybe my like sort of. I don't know if anyone's able to prove. Oh, actually, maybe I can get the LIV without here. Well, no, someone's gonna have to reverse engineer. Okay, guys. I know no one really cares, but it's like a risk management thing. That if someone steals my account number and that's how I end up losing my money, I mean, I would feel so stupid. I would, feel like I made this whole YouTube channel just to be that dumb. Yeah, we'll just look back at like, I don't know. I mean, we can just do this month, I guess. I mean, I already showed that. It's like kind of a crap month, but like at least it's really consistent. Last week, mainly, I mean, nothing really. This was all shorts. I did some shorts, like, I don't, but I really don't want to talk about that. I even have proof of somewhere in my email, but I don't want to pull my email up because I'll end up definitely having to edit the video because it'll show something it's not supposed to show. But I actually purchased the Dow Jones data subscription, um, literally right before the close on Friday. Um, the close, not like the cash close, but like the end of the day close. And I was about to enter short on Friday. Where am I? Over here. Yeah, I was about to enter short on Friday when this freaking thing happened, and I missed it because I didn't want to chase it. Uh, I was, you know, that's sad. So that's me complaining. As you can see, I'm just kind of taking some like screw around shorts here. Um, I had some like stupid, semi-stupid longs around here. Obviously didn't hold them long enough. Got out around here, but basically nothing to show too much. These are like currently some random stuff I'm looking at. Once again, not financial advice. You will lose money if you follow me. But these are like areas that I'm looking for a short, but they're, as you can see, like I'm playing the very far away from, I don't like trying to trade the middle. I think most the best traders do trade the middle. It's just not my thing. I like the edges better. Um, I would probably be able to make more money if I had the emotional control necessary to do the middle correctly, but I don't really. It just doesn't work when I do the middle. So sticking to what works for me. I guess I'm still holding this short in a prop account. Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I don't know if we'll actually get to this, but that's like the tentative max I'm looking for. Um, anyway, yeah, let me review basically. I'm not gonna have my email, but the guy just didn't send out any email update. So like, no email update was sent out, which I personally view as he's still short, right? Because he also didn't cover this morning on the big dip. It means that he's still short and he didn't cover this morning on the big dip. Yeah, yeah. So that's interesting. So therefore, everything is crowded short except for, or sorry, except for YM is not. RTY is also crowded short. So like we have mixed signals here because it's almost like it's not quite the time to really bet a lot short, as in like it's definitely not. But if you were to get in YM, if you could get like a nice move up to here, maybe, maybe like 43, 43.5, even 4400. It could be 4400, guys, even on, but technically YM would make the most sense to short from a positioning standpoint. There's not as much meat on the bones. Tough choice. Tough choice. You remember that UNH is inside of YM, and UNH was getting killed, but then had a big rally. I was going to talk about that last week. I actually made the video on Thursday. I tried to buy it, kind of like in a chart game style way, um, and as in like buying on capitulation, because it was like I think there was $40 billion of volume traded on UNH that Thursday, but yeah, this is like $30 billion of volume on a 300. So like 10% of the stocks shares got traded that Thursday. But I actually was buying down into here. I started too early around here in the after hours, somewhere in there on Robinhood. And my average ended up 276. And I basically took losses actually on the way up, back up. And then I took some profit. I basically lost $40 trying to buy this, which kind of sucks. I had $1,000 drawdown. Stupid, stupid, stupid. And then what's really sad is if I could have just held this initial position, it would have made 2 grand, but I wasn't sized correctly to do that. Um, yeah, realistically, like the hindsight on this trade is I should have used um less risk and scaled in a little sooner. I should have scaled in a little sooner and used less risk, more spread out. So less risk, more spread out, and that would have allowed me to make maybe $300, not 2,000, but like 300 realistically without using hindsight as this advantage. So that would have been a nice play, $300. Would have been less stressful, would have been better risk management. So I should have used less size. I ended up 16 grand in at one point, which was like what I'm considering my current capital base to be like 50K. So that's like, which I can like put more in, but for now that's like what I'm considering my total capital base to be. So that's too much cash tied up for $1,000 drawdown and then losing $40. Like not good outcome. Could have been worse. Like at least I was able to recover a bit, but very break even trader style trading there. Um, just being objective. So that's UNH. But remember that this is in the Dow, so if you're going to be shorting, I actually would not be buying UNH here. This is like the risk zone. I'm looking at puts, especially if we get up into 350. I'm going to look at puts on this. If we somehow ripped high, like if we could rip up into this gap here, like I'd probably really load it at 376 if we go straight there, because at some point a bunch of bags are gonna get dumped on this thing. I don't This does look like the definition of a capitulation bottom down here, and it definitely is possible. from my experience in chart game, which don't underestimate the experience of chart game. There's a lot of charts in chart game. We could actually just see it rally straight up and not pull back a single time. However, that is just very unlikely. But this is why chart game is good for people. Um, that's possible. I mean, it's real. Like it really can literally just go straight from here to here. I do not think that's going to happen though. And I'm going to take risk here, but I have to have the knowledge that I might get forced to take a pretty crappy loss and I can't just average down into oblivion. I can average down within reason until it's clear that the trade is not going to work. And to me, it might overshoot, because a lot of people probably have been starting to short here, getting squeezed. So there's some squeeze shorts right now for sure. Probably more people think about shorting, but the really patient shorts are probably all waiting for something like this. And if I had gotten long, ask yourself how many people bought it on these days thinking it was a deal. And once it gets up into here, some of those people are going to be like, thank God, just get me out of here. That's my psychology preview. And add to that, you also have an overbought Dow. So I am not saying, I'm basically saying, do not long UNH is my not financial advice, entertainment, you will lose money advice. Do not long UNH here under any circumstances, unless you're a lot smarter than me, which there is a good chance you are. Um, or if you like, I mean, actually, I just can't try to not say anything to get myself in trouble. Uh, okay. Or don't short it yet either without, you could short light, as in, like, be prepared if you're going to short for it to go up to here first. Like, be ready for some pain. There's a very good chance you just get straight back down to here, but you need to be prepared for this potential risk. And I personally plan to take some form of a light short, and then I'll probably save most of the powder on that short for right if we get into here. That's where I would really start to like it the most. Looking for a move, just pachinga down to there, something like that. Um, okay, so that's my thoughts on UNH. Thoughts on the market is we're still waiting on our buddy to capitulate. The fact that he's not sending out his email is good for capitulation. However, I think we need one more little, oomph up into here. I'll tell you what kind of I'm thinking of that reminds me of this. Actually, go back to last year. Last year, and you look here, this is when he was short last. We figured out that, he was short from around 378 here. I mean, this is brutal. He took like a 200-point drawdown, still was short around here, 200-point drawdown, but he ended up out at like the 300-point drawdown up here, but he'd averaged down enough that it ended up 200 points overall because of the averaging down from the initial entry, like 300-point drawdown. But my point is, you got this final little pop up on a Monday, this Monday here. And then Tuesday is when he capitulated. It was Tuesday morning. We squeezed. I can't really remember exactly. It might have been actually Thursday morning when he capitulated. And I covered it in my last video, but anyway, I'm looking for a little more squeeze up here. Just a little bit more. Very close. We could have already had it, but I'm thinking just one more, like, start that dread machine mentally of like, oh, I'm gonna lose money all day. Might only go on up to 629. I don't know. I'm just looking for a little more. I want to see a parabolic, like, tick chart, if that makes sense, where um closest thing I've seen to it recently. Like this is pretty good actually. Like not bad there, but it's a little small. Like if you look at it on YM, this looks a little better. Still not quite what I'm looking for though. Something like this, but without this part here. So like this, but then we just go down. I'm looking for something like that at the very end. That might not be what happens though. That might not be what we get. But just be careful on your shorts. Be ready for, you know, I'm already just thinking about how I don't like where I have that order because I'm nervous. Do I really want to enter there? Probably not. Probably not. I'm just scared on the short side. I am. I do want to get short, but only at like once I once we're at a really good price where I want it to feel like hope is truly lost for a short first. Which around here I'd start to feel kind of hopeless if I'd been short. If I'd been stuck short for a while, especially from here, and like we start pushing into there, I'd start to feel like, uh-oh, might never see these prices again. Who knows? But that's it for today. Um, apologies that like I'm not making super cool videos yet or editing to save you guys time, but I do feel like there's actually like maybe something interesting with this stuff. I think so far this has been a good trade idea. I mean, it's a very clear idea that like right now we're just in light scalp short mode, as in like we're not looking for the big follow through. Like we can have one account looking for the big follow through, but if you're a prop trader, but we're generally looking for little tiny short scalps off of profit taking up here. That's just my style. That's my style. It would be better to be able to be long right now, but I'm just not comfortable with it for whatever reason, and so I'm sticking to my. That's yeah, that's my plan. I don't want to be long yet. Will I be willing to be long in here? Probably for sure, but I don't like trying to catch the last bit of a long move like this. I'd rather miss out on it going up to here and then get in long if we ever get back down. But I just don't enjoy longs after we've had such a move like this. Not unless we're at the bottom of the recent range at least. Like I at least want to be, here, like 5,925, somewhere in there. I don't want to be, trying to long right there. I just it's just not for me. Okay, that's it. Thanks.